So that'll let you know where we are with this is the driver's hub. So we've got the shocker off, so that's the top mount to the shocker. That's a bit of plastic. Clean that up. Repaint. We can save this. This is a spring base, so we can save that. I've just put a bit of primer on there to stop it from going rusty. And then we've got the brake pads. Minimum on these is 11mm, and they're actually small and that look quite good, but they're actually worn out. So we'll be changing them. And then where's that? The disc is down here. So we took the disc off. And this is bin parts, but the cones look pretty good. Nice and solid, give them a tap. Nice solid cones, and on the other side, when I was rubbing them down, straight through. I mean, I've bashed that through to show it's a hole, but that's the cone battered. So we're changing the cones, so that's for the bin. And then the disc was, I can't remember what I measured the disc at, but the disc is too small. Anyway, that's too narrow, that's worn out. So that's going. So the pads are going and the discs are going, so I'll throw them out. So they're going. Next on then, so the pads and discs are off. The disc came off there, that's the hub. And everything else I think is pretty good. So this CV joint, so I've got an old type Landrover. Now this is 24 splines on the front end, that's on the wheel side, so that sticks out. If you've taken a hub off before, I don't know where my hubcap is now, but it sticks out about that far, so you can just see that circlip and you can see the splines. That's 24 spline, and you'd imagine it's a 24 spline diff because it's got 24 splines on there, but it's not until you take the CV joint out that you see this, which is a 10 spline. That's a 10 spline end of CV joint or drive shaft. So that's a 10 spline diff. So I've got a 10 spline diff in there. That looks like it's brand new. There's no play in there whatsoever in there. It's solid backwards and forwards, round and round. The lands are good where the seals sit. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's a good old seat. Someone's cared for this Land Rover and put a new CV joint in, or drive shaft, sorry. And then we've got the hub. So I took the hub off, and all the machine surfaces have been, all the gaskets have been taken, the rust has been taken off, have been de-rusted, and I've made sure these are all nice and flat, so they are good. Wheel bearing, let's see the wheel bearing. See the wheel bearing, it's a bit rough. Right, so that wheel bearing's coming out. That's a definite wheel. So what I do is just, oops, that side. Oh, that one's stiff as well. I thought that one was quite slack. No, that one's stiff as well. That's just a little bit worn. Can't really see on the rollers, but yeah, definitely. Well, new wheel bearings, thrust washer, swivels. They're pretty good. They're all right, nice and they're unworn. I think they've been renewed, the swivels. And then the drive shaft came off. So I've got the drive shaft off. Of course, there's a bronze bush in there. Is it bronze? I think it is bronze. And then a seal inside that one. Mated surfaces are good. Splines are good. That's been off once or twice maybe to change a seal. But that's pretty good. It's not worn there. I've got to measure this yet. But it looks pretty good on the lands as well. So I'm keeping the stub axle. And then we come to the actual outer of the hub. So I'll move that there. I've had to split the split the brake caliper in half to get it off because of this bolt, and I'll show you this bolt there. That bolt, it's the star bolt to get that's been ground off at some point, so I'm having a bit of a mare getting that off, but I'll get it off eventually. I'm going to renew this brake pipe because that will fail an MOT on pitting because the pipe's pitted, so I'll have to renew that brake pipe. And then obviously I'll restore I'll take the pistons out, put new piston repair kits in there. Bottom swivel bearing is at the bottom of the top, I can't remember now. Let's see if that's the bottom of the top. That sits outwards. Now the bottom bearing, that's the one that had collapsed. That gave me the clunk because this bearing had collapsed inside that joint. So I've got to measure this. That's the machine surface. See if that's the right hole. Put the bottom swivel in, which I don't know where it is. That is the bottom swivel. Put a new bearing in. Shim that back up again. Let's have a look. Yeah, shim that back up again, and then make sure that bearing's all right, because that was the bearing that had worn, and that was causing my clunk on my drive. So if you've got a clunk on your drive, now I thought, first instinct is it's a CV joint or a spline, because these splines are made, these are the weakest part of the whole drivetrain. So I thought it was a spline to start with, but it wasn't. Then I thought CV joint wasn't that. Then I thought it's the diff. So of course, out to there, doesn't seem like the diff. Then when we were blooming taking the hub off, this thing was rocking about on its mount, and that because the swivel looks okay. There's no wear on there at all, apart from the bearing race is actually. Oh, there you go. Look, there's wear all up that swivel. That's where the bearing's been rocking on that shaft. So someone's put this swivel back in. I didn't spot that before. Good job we do these videos, you know. So I didn't spot that. So that's worn. So I need a bottom swivel. And that's probably why it's got, the bearing's gone. The bearing I threw out, I should have shown you, but the bearing I threw out, excuse me. So it needs a bottom swivel with the right measurements on it. I'll measure that because that's in the book anyway. And then the, swivel bearing, sorry, not swivel. And then the blooming swivel, well, that's supposed to be shiny steel. It's plated with something, I don't know what it's plated with, but I've got all this pitting on it. Have I? Yeah, it's all coming off. Look, this is, I mean, you can see on that side there. I mean, that's wrecked. Now this is not a Landrover part, I'm sure it isn't, because these don't, this has been off, because these bolts to get out, I'll actually get one out of my, these are the bolts out of there. They're in there. No, they're not, that's too long. No, that's too long, that's the brake disc bolt, they're actually shorter than that. So these ones here, these are a sod to get out. Normally, they're very tight, they're Loctited from factory, and they're incredibly tight. And I got advice off the forum, my Landrover forum. It's a 14mm bi-hex spanner you get on there, so a ring spanner, and you can't get them out as it comes off. You can't get your spanner out, so you've got to watch when you take them off. So you take them off so far, and then each individual bolt, as long as you can unscrew it. But that's supposed to be Loctited from factory, and that's not been Loctited. So these come off just with a normal spanner, with a couple of blows of the hammer, and these came off. So they haven't been Loctited in. That could have come off in a you know, when you're driving along that, because that's really bad, because they're not Loctited. I'm not even sure if they're spring washered. In fact, they're not even spring washered, look, because that's a flat washer. I mean, I'll renew these bolts, obviously. That's a flat washer, and that's just been held in there with its own thread. And that's the whole wheel. I mean, that's the whole lot, you know. So that could have come off. So that they should be Loctited when you put them back in. In fact, some of them, when you buy them from Landrover, they actually come with a Loctite on the thread already. It's in green or it's in blue, I think. Blue or green. So I'll get new bolts of these, and I'll actually have the Loctite on there, because that's just unsafe. Although they did do some of the jobs well, because all the seals have held up pretty well. It's just that. So I'll have to get another bolt. That's going in the bin as well. And then we've got the bits behind the seal that hold it on. And out. Do you know, there's two bits here, and I'm sure there's only supposed to be one holding the seal on. I might be wrong. I'll have a look in the book to check, but there's two blooming metal braces to hold the seal in place, and I'm sure there's only supposed to be one, because I've only done one side, so I'm sure there's only supposed to be one of there. And then the actual gasket, I'll keep that just so I know the size when it comes in the post. These nuts are all right. The lock washer's okay. That's only been used once anyway. That'll bend over again. So that's our hub all stripped down. All I've got is one bolt to get the brake caliper off, which is a bit of a sod, because this has been bashed about, this blooming bolt. I don't know if you can see it. If you can see it, hold it up. It's been bashed about that bolt. So, I mean, I've soaked it in degreaser. Let's soak it from the other side. Put a little bit of dribble of oil in it from the other side, see if it'll. So I've got a little dribble of oil. Just going to soak it through. Where's it gone? There. And see if I can just dribble a bit of oil in there. And then see if that'll, this is my nut cleaning box. There you go, I'll show you my nut cleaning box. Oh, sorry, pre-rusting as such, I should say. Just whack them in a bit of oil. Keeps them rusting up when I'm working on the kit. So there's our hub. So all the machine surfaces are good. They're pretty good. Till I check that swivel now. I didn't realise that swivel was one. That's an actual revelation. That's supposed to be a nice parallel drive. That. And it's got shims on it, of course, to shim it up to. So what we do is we get a fisherman's scale, and when it's all together, we pull the fisherman's scale on there to check the bearing is preloaded. Well, it's got some load on it. But so far, that is blooming good. I'm impressed with that. So I'll switch the video off and, well, tune in for the next video. My name's Mark. See you soon.